How's it going, folks? Nick with Foreclosure Finder. We're back with another walkthrough of the week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. New videos every Saturday morning. And again, for any information on these properties, looking to connect in real estate in general or looking to sell for 1% in the New England area, go ahead and drop us a line via the links in the video description. All right, so we are out here today in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. It's a preliminary assignment. We have a smaller investor. They'll typically buy, maybe 10, 20 pools of mortgages, defaulted notes at a time. We're doing a little scouting for them today. I think I've had a few videos before where we've done that. So we're out in Woonsocket today, kicking the tires on this lovely colonial. This is a nice one here. Got a lot of traditional charm, so figured I'd bring you guys, see what's going on. So we'll start on the outside here. We'll just get the right side just because it's the driveway for the neighbor. So we do have the shake shingle, like the clapboard here. So seeing a little bit of you can see kind of the discoloration, or not discoloration, but the change in color between the lower and the top portion. We'll see a little bit more evidence on the other side. Just trying to get a good angle of the roof too, because it's a little bit of a taller building. So seeing what we can do, take some notes here for the client. So I just want to take a quick note because we're going to go in through the side door, but obviously we can see we're kind of missing front rails all on the front porch here. We got the side spindles, side rails, which is nice, but definitely get something covering up these just from a safety perspective. Brick coming off a little bit here. Other one looks good. Overall, this one's not too bad. It's a 1905 build, so about 120 years old. Again, showing some of that old world charm. We'll take a look when we get inside. But let's take a look at the outside first. Again, getting a look at some of the siding here. I mean, it's not bad. Just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I don't see really like any significant damage or anything like that. Does have newer windows in this place too, which is nice. Decent amount of concrete work. We do have retaining walls, kind of like, looks like the neighborhood has them kind of for every house. So some retaining walls. Just going to take notes of the concrete and things of that nature. We'll walk to the back here. Nice big backyard, slopes down a little bit. Looks like we're backed up to maybe condos or apartments here, but good space, pretty deep backyard. Looks like they might have had a little garden back here, and a little workshop. Not going to be able to get into the workshop. The key in the box isn't working, and my keys aren't working, so I think that's just a regular master lock. But you get a little like workshop shed. Can we get let's see if I can poke you guys in here. We can see through it. Okay, not really, but just some benches. Looks like they might have had a wood stove in there at some point. Nice big old tree stump. But again, just trying to keep an eye out for any of this stuff, because at some point this will probably need to be addressed, right? So just keeping that in mind. All right, but good size, big house. Looks a little more imposing from the back side. You can see we have this beautiful stone retaining wall up against the neighbor's property too, so this is pretty nice in terms of like, aesthetic, and it looks like it's in pretty good shape as well. One thing I just want to take a note of, it looks like as we come down into the yard here, there's this like little channel dug out. It's got concrete on both sides, and then there's another concrete like runner here, so looks like it's maybe coming from this door. You can kind of see the outline in the grass. I'm curious as to what you guys might think that is. At first I thought it was maybe like drainage, but you see the gutter here, that's going straight down into the ground. So maybe this was a pathway at some point, just got overgrown, maybe a little pathway down to the garden and the shed, but just thought I'd point that out while we're here. We're gonna pop into this, whatever this room is, real quick. See what's going on. Ooh, okay. So not sure what this may have been. Obviously it's some type of addition to the house here, and we do have structure over it. Okay, I think this is that room. There's a room in there with a really nice floor, so I think this is that room. But a little obviously didn't do too much grading down here. Little runoff you can see, so maybe some mitigation, but okay. All right, not too bad. Looks like it's in decent shape. So that's the basement door. So here, we'll do this, we'll walk around. Got a little debris left on the outside, maybe left over from the trash out, because the place is cleaned up. So all right, let's take a look in here. So it's 3 beds, 2 baths. It's about 1,600 square feet. Again, 1905 build. And we're going to see some of that age show. So we're kind of walking in. You got some built-ins right as you walk in through this little side entry, and I'll just point out nice little stained glass on the entry door. I kind of like that. Adds a little flavor there. And then walking in, we don't have power here today. I do have the light, but I guess just before, as we walk in, we have this like kind of little landing coat room, call it. I really like the wood paneling here. This is like the old school, like I feel like at a like a old hotel. Let's get the light on it here so you guys can see. So this is like the solid wood stuff. This is pretty nice. But again, you know, going to be a bit dated. You can see the wallpaper, some of the ceiling beams, some coffered ceilings in here as well. So again, pretty cool one. See what's going on. So walk right into the kitchen. Now, I'm not a big fan of the kitchen, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like styling wise and stuff, motif wise, you know, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Pretty neutral for me. It does look like it's more recent in terms of an update, you know, with the flooring and the cabinetry and stuff, but a little bit of a weird layout because you kind of walk in. I'm not sure where you might put your table, you know, maybe here, unless they just had it open. But then it just kind of, you know, all the heavy lifting's kind of done in this little corner here, and you just kind of got this open space. So I'm just trying to think, like, is there any way to reconfigure this? Because obviously, you know, we have a bathroom here too, on the like kind of in the kitchen in terms of the kitchen footprint. I'll take a quick look in here. Nothing too crazy going on, it looks like. All right, a little crack in the window, but not too bad. Again, like the styling's not, you know, it looks like it's had a more recent update, maybe like a early to mid 2000s update, just from what I see in the color scheme and stuff. You know, like these cabinets aren't too common in terms of like modern updates. So, but again, just kind of, you know, you have like kind of this footprint here, but then this wall is just really kind of chopping it up, and I'm not a big fan of this. Let me just make sure I don't fall on the basement stairs, but so you can see kind of how we're split up here. So again, you know, having the full bath is nice, but this does feel a little bit congested, because then it's almost like, you know, once you're over here, you see the other, and you're really kind of boxed in with all the cabinetry. So I'm wondering if there's a way to maybe reconfigure this a bit. You know, maybe leave a comment if you have any ideas, but you know, this does feel a little tight in here. But again, overall good shape. Not seeing anything too crazy in terms of damage. Definitely get away with this stuff as is. So I guess we'll turn left here. We'll come into, I guess this would be the dining room, if you want to call it the dining room, just because we're off the kitchen. You do have the nice bump out we see in the older style homes. You know, just getting some of that natural light. And I am noticing though, new windows here, new windows in the other room, but these look like they might be older wood windows. Got the high trim there too. Okay, floor not bad in this room, but I definitely think they had a carpet, because if you see in the room, the further living room, and then this little back room, floor's in great shape. So this was that room that had like the sand right under it that we just saw. So love the floor in here. This is awesome. Like kind of the pattern pushing in on itself. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. Does add a nice bit of flair and style to it, other than just being a floor. But this is kind of like a, you know, this is the more modern part of the house. This little room here. So we're not going to put too much stock into it just because it is the addition. But then we're coming back into the main house. Like I said, that little bump out here in the dining room. Then as we walk through, it looks like we're going to come into the living room here. All right, not bad. Good size. Flooring's in good shape. You got the border on the bottom, kind of separating the wall, and I know, not wainscoting. Forgetting the name of it now. But yeah, even the wallpaper's in good shape. And again, not the biggest fan of the style, but. And then as we look up, nice coffered ceiling. Some of the beams going there. I guess maybe, is it a true coffer? Because it's not like squared up, but I don't necessarily think it'd be like an open beam. And then a nice little kick out. This is on the front porch. This is nice. I guess the only thing is, you know, the radiator being right there. I could definitely see like a reading, you know, bench, like a reading bench, right? Something here, just utilizing the space, but hey, I didn't design the place, but good. You know, like I said, good. This one's a good, like Bones property. I think, for the most part, this one's gonna be pretty decent. Let's pop down, let's just pop down into the basement. We'll kind of get that over with. Now let me just pop the light on for you guys. There we go. All right, so we'll come down in the basement. Again, 1905 build, so expecting to see a little bit of stuff down here, but overall not too bad. I will take a look. I don't think I've ever seen the concrete, or I'm sorry, like the block and stone. Looks like they like skim coated it almost and then painted it pink. So that's a first for me. I don't know if that's just like the color of the material they used or what, but all right, we are on public water, public sewer, which is nice, but we do have an oil tank here. All right, just looks like some additional storage. Well, this furnace looks like it's brand new. Okay, interesting. Winterized like 2 weeks ago, it looks like. Okay, this looks like it might be like brand new. There isn't even any dust on it. So Maybe the servicer who had it before, maybe they replaced it, you know, as a repair. That could be a thing. And then it looks like we just got some more storage. Now I am noticing we're on like some wood pallets here. Yeah, so looks like they've built up the floor a little bit. It's a little curious as to why. Yeah, so okay, so here we go. So let's see. So here's the actual basement floor concrete. All right, so this is, so yeah, they did skim coat it. It's a pretty thick skim coat. Okay. And then some more of the pink. So they probably just painted it. Okay. But yeah, you can see it looks almost like they have a pallet. They had a pallet floor here. The only thing I could really think of is that maybe, you know, obviously the concrete's in good shape here, but you can see some damage here. And the only thing I could really think of as to why this would be like this is if the concrete was damaged enough where they just wanted a flat floor to walk on. Because it looks like there was finished ceiling down here at some point, right on this side, and all of this is gone. Doesn't smell wet, doesn't look wet. Okay, interesting. Again, just trying to figure it out. For all I know, maybe they just wanted pallets in their basement as the floor. But that's a little interesting. Oh yeah, and I wanted to point this out too. I got an actual just piece of timber here as the pillar. And I don't know what it is. Since I started the channel, we've had a few properties, maybe like 3 or 4, where they're actually using the piece of timber itself, like not actual milled wood. And before I started the channel, I like never saw that. So again, just another, they painted this, it looks like, which kind of drives me nuts. It's like you're gonna use an actual tree to hold up your building and then paint it. But again, just thought I'd point that out, an actual tree just holding up the place. Again, showing its age, 1905. You know what, 120 years old. We've seen that in a few other properties. Okay, and then we're looping around. Yeah, so here's the main entry. Not the biggest fan of the baby blue. And I guess you're gonna see some of the. So this is where the house kind of shows its age, and you know, whether you want to call this charm or not is up to you. But got a nice piece of plumbing just kind of running right around the front door and up into the upper level down into the basement. So again, quirky stuff like that. You see it every once in a while. All right, we'll head upstairs. Nice wide staircase. Okay, flooring up here looks pretty good. You got more of that baby blue. Got a nice little like landing as we get up here. And then we'll turn around. This is a pretty big hallway. I don't think we're gonna go up into the attic today, but okay. Good size, good space. Yeah, these bedrooms are pretty big. Yeah, floor in pretty decent shape, walls in pretty decent shape. I have to imagine this is plaster, not drywall too, so the fact that we're not seeing a lot of cracking is usually a good sign. Again, we are heading into the winter season. This is what, middle of November, this video, so things will tighten up a little bit as it gets colder. Bedroom number 2. Now this was a nice one, you know, more of the coffered ceiling here. This is a nice, like between the floor, the wood on the ceiling. Now they don't have the newer windows in here, so that's driving me a little nuts just because the wood doesn't match, but definitely looked like they had an aesthetic and a feel going in here. And then yeah, some of these solid wood doors, not the hollow stuff. Very nice. Like I said, this one's pretty, can't really beat it up too much. Again, if you're not into the kind of the traditional charm, you know, it is what it is. This one looks like they had a carpet in. This one you might need a little work on the floor, but otherwise it's in pretty good shape. But yeah, no cracking on the plaster. That's a big, I'd argue that's a little bit of a bigger deal just because plaster is a little tougher to deal with in my experience. Little crack right there, just a little one. Looks like we have some spotting from the roof, so I'll just make a note of that. We'll just keep that in mind. Like I said, roof looked pretty good, but can't see every nook and cranny from the street. And then we got our second bathroom. We got the clawfoot tub in here. Nothing indicating that, yeah, so no shower hookup. So this is just a straight up bathtub. So maybe, you know, technically 2 full baths, but like functionally 1.5, unless you're just a tub, or unless you're just a bath person. Something going on with the plumbing here, but okay. But again, it's just the old tile. Actually looks like this has been painted over, yes. So one thing, it wasn't like high gloss. Typically the stuff is very glossy, but this paint you can tell is pretty matte. And then, you know, you can kind of see some of the imperfections there. So this was painted over at some point. So it could be yellow, could be pink, could be blue, who knows. Honestly, with the blue here, part of me is gonna, you know, if I had to guess, I'd probably say blue. This one ain't bad though. Again, big fan of this room. I love the ceiling in here. This is very nice. So, I mean, it almost looks like some work was done here recently between, you know, it looks like relatively, I should say. And then, you know, the new furnace. Again, it's pretty clean. Not like, you know, I'm not walking through cobwebs, so maybe this one was more recent than not. But okay. Oh, and then we got the stable door here too. Didn't notice that when we walked in. Cool. And then we'll walk back into our our hotel lobby here. All right, cool. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today, guys. Appreciate you guys sticking around for another walkthrough of the week. Again, for any information on these properties, looking to connect or sell for 1%, go ahead and drop us a like via the links in the video description. Otherwise, Nick signing off till next time. See ya.